Hi. So yesterday we began here. Uh, we were looking at this table, and in this table we tried to find and identify some numbers, how they were derived, and the insights that we took here from here was the quantities of sugar created, made, uh, the prices of cane, and the differences of the total cost of uh, making per kg sugar from total quantity of sugarcane, and then the cost of making sugar, and then the taxes applied, and then the final price uh, of that per kg quantity of sugar. Now, today I wanted to go with this interpretation of the video of this table, so that it creates a clear understanding of how these numbers are derived as part of documenting process of this work. So I'll begin with reading this, and then try to put this scenario here, and these numbers and the concept scenario here in the table, so that it, it actually will drive to the point that I intended to make this video for, how when we apply a different approach in calculating numbers, they produce different results, and when we change the base numbers or the concept beneath it, it actually changes the results in terms of understanding. The same numbers that we uh, tend to, you can say, use for evaluating the results. We put that beneath a concept, and once we correct the concept, or we change that concept, we tend to see results in different perspectives. So that we are going to. So this interpretation is going to drive to that point. So let's start. It says from indicative prices 182 for 40 kg, price of per kg cane was derived, which is PKR 4.55. It means when you divide 182 rupees with 40 kg, so you're going to get price of per kg of cane, and that per kg of cane price is 4.55. So we can see it here as well. Now these were the indicative prices, 182 divided by 40. And when you do that, you get per kg price of sugarcane, that is 4.55. Now coming to the second point, similarly, and then it says, and then price of 10 kg of cane was determined uh, by multiplying 4.55 into 10. So when you multiply this per kg price of cane with any number, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, so you're going to get the price of according to that thing, because we here have derived per unit price, and when you have per unit price, when you multiply it with any number, you're going to get the total price with respect to that number. And then it says similarly price of 40 kg, 100 kg and 1000 kg were determined. So that we have just discussed. As per report, the cost of cane for producing 1 kg of sugar is 45.41, and the sugar recovery rate is 10.47. Now here it says uh, uh, we took this number 45.41 and the sugar recovery rate to 10.47% from the report of uh, that sugar opinion dated 25th April 2018, that we recorded in the discussed about in the previous video. So that these numbers are taken from there. And then it says sugar recovery rate is determined by dividing total sugar produced, divide by dividing total sugar produced divided by total cane crushed. For example, as per PSMA data 2019, the whole Pakistan was uh, sugar produced 5,210,744 million metric tons, divided by 49,768,113 sugarcane crush, and the sugar recovery percentage is 10.47. Now this shows, so these numbers are taken from PSMA report 2019. So where the sugar produced for whole Pakistan was around 5.2 million metric tons. When we multiply it in kgs, it's going to go in sort of billions. So that was the sugar produced for whole Pakistan. And this sugar was produced from the total quantity of cane crushed for for whole Pakistan was 49,768,118. So when this cane was crushed in whole Pakistan in all provinces, the sugar produced for whole Pakistan was 5.2 million metric tons almost. And as per these numbers, the sugar recovery rate will become 10.47%. That is here. So this is one of the ways to find out how much sugar is made from the cane. Therefore, when the sugar recovery rate is known, it may tell the quantity of cane crushed. In essence, the quantity of sugar made from the quantity of cane crushed tells the sugar recovery rate. Now here it says when you know the sugar recovery rate, you can find out the quantity of the cane crushed for that year by that mill, because it becomes easy to calculate then, because you have the known number and then you can derive the another one. So, and this another sentence is the same, just written differently. So when you have the quantity of sugar made from drink that you have crushed, that actually tells you how much sugar is made from that cane that is crushed by the mills. And when you divide that sugar made from the total number of cane crushed, you actually get the recovery rate, sugar recovery, which indicates that this cane produced this quantity of sugar. And here it is assumed that once the sugar recovery rate is determined after cane crushing and sugar made from it, then the farmers are paid the price for production. Now this I have written just for trying to understand at what stage are farmers actually paid. When they actually have sold to the, uh, you can say, to the mills. Do they get the price then and there, or does the mills purchase them and then crush the cane, then they get the prices of cane? So and they make the sugar and then they pay to the farmers. So this is to understand how this is the price. What is actually the mechanism of the payments by the mills to the farmers? At what stage do they pay? So it says if the same data from year 2019 is considered, the quantity of cane produced is 67,129,645, and out of this total cane produced in whole Pakistan, the canes crushed were this 49 million approximately, making the mill's utilization rate of cane for producing sugar from cane crushing at 74%, and then sugar made from this cane crushed is 5.2 million, which makes the sugar recovery rate from cane crushed at 10.47%. It means 10.47% of sugar was made from total 49 million tons of cane crush. The cane crush number is accumulated from whole of Pakistan. Now in this point number 8, another factor is added, which is uh, the total cane produced within the country, so that is one point. And then once the total cane is produced and sold to the mills, then how much from that cane they crush the cane, from that produce of cane they crush the cane. So that percentage is 74%. And then from that crushed cane, which is 49 million, makes 74% of 67 million. So that crushed cane then produces how much sugar in quantity. So that is 5.2 million, and that the percentage 5.2 million is 10.4% of 49 million. So this was just simple calculation for understanding purpose. To determine the sugar cane required for producing 100 grams to 100 plus grams kg of sugar, begin with the known number. So when you have the known numbers, then you can easily find out the quantities of the sugar produced and scale it on the bigger numbers. Then first, another point is, first find out the amount of sugar produced, multiply the sugar recovery rate with the quantity of canes. Now how can you find out? You have to find out the quantity of sugar produced when you multiply the sugar recovery rate with the quantity of the cane. Let's say the sugar recovery rate is known that it is 10.47%, for example, and then you have the numbers of cane. Let's say it's 40, uh, 40 kg of cane. So in my research, I found out 10 kgs of cane is usually enough for producing 1 kg of sugar. So when you multiply 10 kg, let's say, with the 10.47% of sugar recovery rate, you actually get the total quantity of sugar produced, because that eventually sugar recovery rate tells that this recovery rate is derived from the total quantity of cane crushed and the sugar is made, which indicates this number of 10.47%. So regardless of quantity of cane, when we multiply the sugar recovery rate with the quantity of cane number, we are going to actually get the amount of sugar produced with respect to that recovery percentage, sugar recovery percentage. And then it's the standard known quantity here is 40 kg and known percentage is 10.47, just now that we have discussed. Assuming the mills are paying the farmers a production quantity and they are crushing 100% of cane, which is producing 10.47% of sugar rate at 100% of cane production. Now there is also one of the factor dimension to think of, which means here when the cane produced for all Pakistan was 67 million, but the cane crush was 49 million. There's a difference. So this 49 million is actually makes 74% of the uh, 67 million, and 67 million is 100%. So assuming the mills did not just crush 49 million out of 67 million, but they crushed the whole 67 million of cane and then produce the sugar. And that produced sugar, assuming, is let's say 6.2, which makes increase the recovery rate 10.47 to 11%, assuming, and that 11% will then become that it is made. This number signifies that the 11% is the sugar recovery rate uh, from the total produced crush, and which will be actually 100%. uh, with reference, because the cane crushed number and the sugar cane produced numbers will become equal. But even then, the reference will go to the point of crushing the cane, not to the production, even though they have become same. But the correct reference to identify the sugar recovery rate and to reference it would always be the second point, which is, so this is sugar recovery sugar cane produced, and the second point is cane crushed, and then the sugar made from it. So, and then you derive the sugar recovery rate. So you are always going to go to the second point, so that from second point, you refer to onwards further in the cycle, that is the sugar made and the sugar recovery rate. So that is here, and since the we have discussed here in detail, so in next video we are going to continue from here from point 14, uh, so that we actually go and discuss this point number 29. How some of the numbers that we derived here were incorrect in process and should not have been, and it should, how I came to correct them with correct understanding with a new renowned red literature research work on this. So let me just read the points here so that we finalize. It says how prices are found and then scaled up to huge numbers that we have discussed. Find the base unit prices and then apply on subsequent big numbers that we have discussed. Uh, when total sugar made from total sugarcane quantity, it gives a percentage indicating that from total quantity of cane, this percentage quantity of sugar was made, that we have discussed thoroughly. Timeline to pay farmers, when exactly farmers are paid for the produce from mills and based on what? The quantity of cane produced or after the cane is crushed. So this is to be further read and researched upon. If accurate sugar recovery rate is to be found, then the quantity of sugar made for each mill is to be determined, because only 1% used for whole Pakistan is average of all mills and may not indicate correct quantity. Now here it discusses that when you try to make uh, evaluations of the sugar made, so you this 10.4%, 47% is actually signifying the sugar recovery rate of whole Pakistan. It's total quantity produced, the cane crushed by all mills in provinces, and then the sugar made, and then you drive the sugar recovery rate. Now this says when we do that, it actually gives us the average and minimize the precision, accuracy of the quantities produced. So for having the accuracy of the quantities, we the most effective way would be to determine the mill's sugar recovery rate for each mill, and then don't find out the average, because when you find out the sugar recovery rate and the sugar made, so you will have the total actual quantities of the sugar and not the averages. So that would be very beneficial, I think, for making evaluation and forecasting. Accurate numbers always work well. So this was today, for all for today, and then we're going to continue. Thank you.